Alright, g'day everybody, Lord Rock Dota here. We have an exciting series for you, this video. This is a direct follow-up to my last video on EG series against VGJ, the Galaxy Battles Grand Final. So this is a series of 3, EG versus Penta Sports. And EG makes, this is a really great series because EG makes really cool adaptations. You get to see exactly how they assess their issues and how they move forward against it. So EG lose the first game uh, pretty badly, and then they doing the same kind of stuff, and then they win the second game and they win the third game. And the second and third game is where you're going to see the changes that are really cool. But we are going to start with the first game. Oh, there we go. We're going to start with the first game here. And you can see the draft. You can see just how badly they lost 38 to 13 kills, 44 minutes. So it took a little while, but yeah, pretty bad loss. Pretty reminiscent, I think, of the first game. Yeah, they're very reminiscent of the first game against VJJ. Oh bugger! I had it already set up at the right time that I wanted to go to. No broadcaster, thank you. I wanted to go to 16:20, so just a little bit longer. Alright, so I pause at 16:20 here. You see EG do their split push style in this game, and they're going to get punished for it. So you see they're farming 3 cores in 3 different lanes right now, and there's a smoke up play from Penta, and they go on the should be theoretically ungankable puck. Fortunately, he gets done by the Sand King blink stun and the torrent follow up, and then after this point, we've still got Fear and Misery taking the top tower, but Arteezy also doesn't back off, and this is a real issue for Arteezy as an isolated split pusher right now. Basically because he can't get away. He can't actually push the tower and he can't get away. So you see right there is a real issue for EG. Even though they're getting creamed on hero kills, they're still, the fact that they're within contention with gold shows that they're farming really well. But they're farming at a cost, and this is why the game takes a while, They just keep dying and keep dying because the split push isn't functional. And that's the main point I want you to take away from this little clip there. The split push is not functional. So the next bit we're going to go to is at 37 minutes. First game's going to be real short. Okay, a little bit before that. That's 37, so not 27. Okay, so where are we? Alright, so EG still losing, but they're still, kind of there with gold. EG pushing out top lane. So Arteezy pushing out top lane, Fear pushing out mid lane, and then the rest of them in base. But there's an issue right now in that there's creeps on the towers, on EG towers, and there's no creeps anywhere close to Penta's towers, right? Fear is actually just going to cut wave, and Artur is a long way away. So what this enables Penta to do is to be aggressive with their Sand King infestation. So they've got a ward up here, and that enables them to make the call and go. Blink Hex on the OD, takes out the ET, and then straight up. Both supports of EG dead under their Tifos. And EG don't really have an answer, right? Their split push isn't offering much of a threat, and their team fight is pretty lackluster. So I'm just going to show you a minute of this in faster pace. So Arteezy is staying down top, but he's not pushing anywhere near with the speed, and he can't get out either. It's a non-functioning split push strat. It's just not working with these heroes against a good catch draft, right? You have a blink stun with OD. Well, he doesn't even have blink. He has Hurricane, but whatever. He's got the stun. You've got the infest gank. You've got the blink stun Sand King. You got another stun on Lesh, and you got the Kunkka for catch. So really good catch heroes. So yeah, look, that's going to be game 1. That's the basic story of game 1. So I'll move on to game 2. And game 1 again was pretty reminiscent of the last series. So at this point, EG haven't made significant changes, and that'll come in the next 2 games. So I'll just bring up my notes for game 2. Where are we? Okay. So the first point, we'll get into the draft. I think Arteezy played PL first game, but it was like towards the end of the draft. I think it was the last pick PL, if I can bring it up. Pretty sure it was the last pick PL. Alright, maybe not. It was around middle, whatever. I think the last pick's Samel. Okay. I don't know, man. 10th and 12th pick and 11th pick, I don't know, man. It actually lied straight up in drafts before. These are very unreliable, so I'm not even taking them. So, go back, it should, here we go. Game 2. Game 2 is completely different. And it starts with the draft. So Arteezy gets the first pick PL, and I think this is a really cool follow-on effect from first picking it. Penta banned the first pick Terrorblade straight up because EG have shown, and they've done really well with the first pick TB. So I think EG are either going to pick first pick PL or first pick TB, one of those two. They feel like they can counter the PL. The second pick here is Misery's Bane, and this is really huge. Because Misery was on Dazzle last game, and he played Dazzle against VGJ. Basically, the way EG play, the hero Dazzle does not achieve anything. Because they can't really make use of his team fight, they can't really make use of his sustain, and he's not ever in a position to push wave with Shadow Wave, so it's just really awkward. Bane, however, does completely different things. Wins lanes really hard, and then provides catch, provides control. So that's a big thing. The follow-on effect from PL being picked really early is that Penta, I think, in this pick or the next pick, will pick a Sven. And a Sven in this meta is a hero that needs protection, and a hero that needs here it is. Is a hero that needs a good lane, a good start, and that provides a window for EG to exploit, especially with these 2 heroes, right? They're gonna basically hound the Sven as these 3 the entire way through. It's really good. So it immediately puts EG as the aggressors instead of the being chased. So the last pick again, or the last pick, at least in this game and in the third game, is going to go to Smail's hero. And when PL and the 2 supports, this is significant because when PL and the 2 supports are chasing the Sven and basically being an aggro tri-lane, that means that Smail should be getting a one-on-one matchup. So this is a hero, these are 2 heroes that they've gotten for their other cores in Fear and Smail. One-on-one matchups that they can absolutely dominate, and it's huge, it's really good. This baiting out the Sven pick and then picking the Batrider is a massive win for EG. So it's a change in approach, and it's a change in draft and in lanes. So I want to get to the lanes now. Yeah, so start at 2 minutes. Okay. Come on, bro. I said 2 minutes, not 140. Alright, so here we go. Okay. So there's a lot of swaps in the first couple of minutes. But basically, EG are trying to get PL against the Sven with the supports. You can see Sven's actually, he's not even in lane right now, right? It's working very well. Support's putting a lot of pressure on. And they're trying to get the Lycan up against the Darkseer and Smail up against the Timber. So yeah, we're just going to show you here, there's a lot of pressure coming out from supports and Arteezy's lane, and oh, missed it. Basically supports are occupied, and it enables this kind of play from Smail. Just a level 1 surge, so only 3 seconds. He's gonna dive and get the kill here, which is huge, right? 2 minutes into the game, Sumail's making that kind of aggression in the mid lane. That's what Sumail's like thrives on. It's amazing. So yeah, facilitating that, then Fear immediately wraps over and takes over the lane. So yeah, that's an indication, right, of how it's going to go, and it's also a big change with kill threat. The other series, the other game, there was very little kill threat coming out from EG, and you can immediately see the kill threat on the Sven, and you can immediately see the kill threat coming out from Sumail. So 7 minutes is the next clip I want to show you. Back just a little bit. Alright, a little bit before. Okay, so there's action in the top lane basically. Sumail's being super aggressive bot lane. You can see he's massively won his lane, right? So he's gonna chase down that Timper. They're gonna lose some supports top, and Fear's got the easy lane mid. So rotation from enemy mid basically. But you see action everywhere, right? The key theme is action everywhere. Pushing, you know, aggression, and pushing as hard as we can with the Dominator on the Lycan. So the moment Timber comes back, he was bot, right? He can't go bot, they've even lost the tower. The moment Timber comes back mid, he's pulled one hero here. So Sphere now says, I'm gonna continue my aggression, right? And this is a huge change for Fear as a player himself in these two games. Previously he was playing a Death Prophet, and Death Prophet basically couldn't do anything on her own and was getting absolutely shreked in lane most of the time. So while they might think it's still a strong hero, it just might be not their hero. Instead, Fear gets the Lycan, is able to push lanes by himself, and rotate and get kills, and importantly have kill threat by himself. And that's a huge change for the dynamics of their draft. I think Fear's an experienced head, really good, so he's someone that can take advantage of that. So again, you see more pressure. Sven was farming a stack here, he's not allowed to do that for free. And then it immediately makes space. They got TP's top, and look at the space again for Sumail down bot lane. Immediately pushing, right? Immediately pushing. He got a blink dagger as well. 8-minute blink dagger, right? And he can continue to make these kind of plays. So I'll show you how this works out. 8 minutes, level 9 bat, level 4 Sven, right? This is a dream scenario for EG to have this kind of lane discrepancy. So it's a theme that EG I think will continue absolutely, where they aggro tri lane, or they just sit there carry on the enemy carry, and then they let Fear and Sumail continue this play. So even though Sumail dies, right, he's still got a 2-for-1. Look at the tower damage that he got here. Massive rotations, and those rotations make space. Space for mid lane, space for Arteezy to farm up on the hard carry on his team, bro. Huge plays. Completely different dynamics and completely different draft from the last time. So the next bit, we've seen 8 minutes. Yeah, gonna go to 15 minutes now. 15:40. Okay, of course here, what are we looking at? 15:40. Alright, so we're looking now at the laning dynamic. Before, you saw how much Sumail was pushing lane, right? He was cutting like wave here, he was cutting wave here, getting kills both times. Now he's got his blink dagger. He got that at 8 minutes, but he's now got his force as well, so he can now jump on someone and bring them back. But most importantly, in the dynamics of his team, he's the only one with who can kill you from fog most of the time. What they have here is Fear. You'll see it in a moment, but he's kind of off in his own area right now. He's farming jungle, but he will move top to farm a lane. He's predominantly farming lanes, and Arteezy as well is predominantly farming lanes. There's always going to be 3 lanes, and that's only 2 heroes. The other guy that's predominantly going to be farming lanes is the Tusk, trying to push them out. So what that lets Sumail do is play from the fog and create danger, right? And you'll see how that plays out as we go. You know, as any time you're trying to watch a replay, watch the map as much as anything. So here we go. So they find the Sand King, and it's important to note that Bane and Tusk are playing in this role too, right? Bane is amazing, you know, the best in the game at single target lockdown, right? And then, or at least one of, and then crit as well for initiation. So the support dynamics are really different, right? They've got super aggressive pick-off supports, right? These are also supports that are not AoE focused, right? They're not team fight 5-on-5, right? They're not a silencer and an earthshaker or something like that. They're single target heroes. So I'm gonna let this play for a little bit, because the same thing happens, right? The Sand King was off on his own. The Sven was trying to be off on his own farming jungle. He's getting pressured. And the rest of them are forced to group up, right? With this pressure coming out and the lanes being pushed in, you'll see the Sand King again tries to push out bot lane here, and you see what happens. For the second time in a row, immediate rotation from Sumail. Hasn't shown in a lane, is just trying to dominate the space in between lanes. So you'll see 3 of them come in right now. And look at that. Initiation at the wazoo. There is no escape. Even with Fiend's group down, they can take it. So then, that is 17 minutes, immediately looking to follow on. Look at that, TP into tower, Fiend's group, right? Another pick off. So fear as well is what you can do with Lycan, and why this pick is super good, and why they first pick it in the next game, is that because of the ult, you can also get out. This is the big thing, that what Arteezy wasn't to do as the isolated hero, right? Fear has taken over that role as the isolated hero when he plays Lycan. And he's able to do it better because he can escape on Lycan, as well as like get in. He can get in and get out. This PL, he cannot get out, right? You know, sometimes PL players will pick up Blink for that kind of mobility, and that kind of split push game. But otherwise it's a pretty subpar item. It's not really what a PL wants. Or at least what he wants in this current day in meta. Okay, so we're at 18 now. What's the next one? So we're basically at the next clip. 19 minutes, we're setting up for Roche. So now Sand King isn't going back. Sand King's going to stay with his team. He doesn't want to feed. Only Sven is isolated, and his team is going to go to him now. They don't really want to leave him alone. And you'll see that kind of pressure. So just let it play out for a moment. At this point, I think EG know that Penta have grouped up, so they're grouping up as well because they feel strong, and they probably think that there's the next objective for them is Roche, right? These 2 towers are going to be harder to take, and they've taken all these towers, so it's the next objective for EG naturally is Roche. The moment Penta make a mistake and go for the wrong objective, you know, they're going behind their Sven, right? They're pushed in this lane, they're expecting someone to defend, and they're going for a pick-off. But it's the wrong objective. EG are playing better objective right now. And this is also something I don't think they had in previous drafts, and something that the Lycan gives them, the physical damage for Roche. Previously Arteezy was like mostly the only physical damage, and now he's got a complement, and this enables this kind of play. So what happens after this Roche, I really like for the mentality that it shows. And it's just aggression. You know, the tower's not gone, they're really slow Penta because they're scared. So they haven't taken the tower. And now they send in the Tusk first, and the rest of the team is able to follow up. So look at that, because he's a Tusk and a Blink Dagger, he can just absorb a little bit, and EG can clean up, right? Absolutely clean up. They've got the initiation on the Sven and the Timber, anything they want. Don't even lose a hero, EG. Don't even lose a hero, right? Now the big thing that this shows about mentality is because of the lack of objective. I said a minute ago, EG were playing objectives really well, and that's what gave them Roche. This kill, this team fight, is actually very risky. typically you don't want to use the Aegis immediately, right? You want to exploit the Aegis and use it for leverage. Now Arteezy doesn't die, and that's fantastic, but they're risking the Aegis. And they're risking the Aegis for no objective. There's no objective they're going to get, right? They're taking the towers here. What that shows instead is that EG want to take a fight, not because of the objective. They're not playing conservative, they're playing aggressively because they can, right? They want to fight and take a risk because they can, because they're strong. And that's the sign of a confident winning team, right? It's a sign that you want to see from its Sumail team and an Arteezy team, right? So I think that's fantastic. Yeah. So we'll go on to the next clip. This is a pretty short one. 22 minutes. Actually, we're almost there. 22 minutes, 30 seconds. Where are we at? Okay. So here we go. So you see Lycan's pushing in the top lane. The rest of EG are kind of trying to shut down split push here and just pushing out other lanes, otherwise occupying heroes. But what I want to show you here comes under closing out the game and the importance of having fear on this Lycan instead of DP, or at least the comparison, right? This is a hero that can function on its own, and that's what EG were lacking, right? He's taken the top tower, he's pushed in, he's forced a massive amount of rotations, and he's gotten out scot-free. He doesn't even lose Necrobooks, I think he'll still wolf, whatever. But look at that, it's forced rotations, and Penta are playing in the dark because they're stretched thin, and they've just conceded an easy pick-off, right? So it's huge, it's absolutely huge, and it enables everything else. I'm gonna let this play out from here, I think. You could say, I mean, if you look at the warding right now from Penta, I think they warded inappropriately for most of the game. I don't think they understood what kind of threat they were up against until it was happening. Until, you know, they're losing it. Maybe they didn't get it until they were watching the replay. But point is. So yeah. There's another point to be made about closing the game in that EG, I wanted them to focus. I think their solution from the previous series was to focus on push, and I'm happy that they've done that. But having a clear push as well makes this stage, right, going high ground a lot easier. And Lycan is key to this. Lycan is absolutely key to this as a hero. So he can chip at it like that, and he can just overwhelm it as well. You know, a PL can't do that, and PL, yeah, you failed them before. It's still a good hero though. They're making the hero work in a but it's in a different role, right? Arteezy is playing a different role. So I think I just want to show you. It's because it's going to happen like in 30 seconds. I think. Here we go. So the smoke out from Penta. Penta don't want to get split pushed. They want to take a fight. You look at their draft. They want to fight, right? Darkseer combo with that. But I mean, look what they're getting, right? A single target hero initiation from Vacuum, right? It's just completely the opposite of what they want. So you see that's happening, and look at Fear, he goes in, right? This is winning by split push. The previous drafts of EG weren't able to do this, and this again is the difference between Lycan and DP. So he goes in, they've got the Aegis on PL. This is how you want to use Aegis, right? This is the perfect Aegis usage. Taking an awkward fight that gives you objectives. So yeah, at this point it's it's good game. You can see the net worth lead, it's astronomical at this point. And it's cool. So that's what I love from EG. It was a really encouraging game, and I'll show you game 3 now. Game 3 is very similar to game 2. But there's a few differences and a few cool things at play, so I'll show you them. So with this kind of draft, it's really important that you're always on the front foot, right? And you have to start on that front foot. You have to start on the front foot by winning your lanes. So drafting for the lanes is really important. Show you again. So again, Terrorblade ban. Penta deny pick the PL, right? So that's pretty cool. EG, you see the value that they place now. They first pick the Lycan because it's so integral, and they first pick the Bane. But again, these are two really integral heroes for their roles. There's not a lot of heroes that can actually function in the way that Bane and Lycan do. They're very valuable like that. It's also, I want to point out, it's worthwhile that these three heroes, like Chen and Terrorblade in particular, fit with EG's draft really, really well. I think they would have picked Chen, and he fits in with this kind of play a lot. And TB as well. It's another hero that can push from really early and provide that function. So I want to show you, that's really enough about the draft. I think they last pick Sumail's hero again to give him that advantage, and I think he picks Omni Knight. So that's really cool. And it's a very similar role to Batrider, but has some differences, and we'll get into that later. So I don't know why I'm going like that. I'm looking for this stage. Alright, so I want to show you guys here basically the first two waves of each lane. Or I'll show you just the first two waves and look at each lane. Because this should show you how EG kind of set themselves up here. So again, aggressive lane from EG. They were starting with 3 heroes bot into what would be the PL's lane, but PL is mid. They've got a void top, so they think they might have a bit of a dual core lineup. So you can't really harass out this Lycan, right? The Wyvern starts mid, and you can't really do anything, right? This Feral Impulse is just OP, right? So what's the build that he goes? So EG see that from here, you see they started 3 bot, and it's only the Tide. So Bane and Sven can handle this Tide, basically. That's the call they make. And what they want is to ensure that Sumail doesn't get bullied out in the same fashion. So Crit's moved up top, and this is a fantastic rotation. This is the play that he should have made. It's perfect. I don't know why there was a bash level 1, but there it is. And you can see Sumail's got the first 2 waves of XP, he's got level 2, and now it's so much harder to zone him. As well as the Wyvern starting mid. This is a bit of a wasted play from Wyvern. I don't think he impacted the lane at all. And I don't know how much he could have done top anyway. But the first 2 creep waves, now look at the CS, right? Sumail's got 2 waves full, Arteezy's farmed an entire wave, denied an entire wave, and Fear's farmed perfectly. Right? Only of the Radiant heroes, only the PL has farmed his share. The Void's being contested under tower now. He's got 2 heroes in his lane as well. And the Tide has got absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. So this is why it's really important for EG to do this kind of laning setup. So you know it's hard to do this. It's actually very hard to outdraft an opponent in such a way that you can dominate lanes like this. But this is what you want to be doing in this kind of aggro draft. Don't worry too much about the late game against a dual core lineup like this, you know, whatever. Penta, this is a draft that's actually very reminiscent of the way the Chinese teams and VGJ played, right? Super defensive, super good high ground, super good team fight. And this is how EG have made their adaptation. This is the counter, right? Split push and early lane winning, right? Get into a position where you can pull the enemy team apart and then do so. Rip them to shreds. Okay, so that's the laning setup. The next point I want to show you is how they exploit the 1 lanes. So at 6 minutes, I think we have... Yeah, okay, you see, they can't do anything to Fear. They just can't do anything. So at 6 minutes, he's got level 6 now. 2 supports in the mid lane. Look at that, level 2, level 3. They're not doing very well. Now, I'm waiting for the supports of EG to move mid now. Alright, so Bane's coming in from the bot lane with the double damage, and Crit's coming in from the top lane with the smoke. Not that he's using, it's just go on, so whatever. Anyway, level 6 on Fear. Supports of EG are over leveled. They're immediately exploiting the power spikes, right? You know, Wyvern's wanted top, not much they could do about it anyway, so they're just diving mid, and Arteezy is putting massive pressure on the Tidehunter too, right? He's not letting him get anywhere near these creeps. This is timed to really powerful aggression. Alright, so they get the kill on the ET, they get the kill on the PL, and they've been shredding the Tide. And Sumail is still farming, because he's a level 6 Omni Knight, and what are you going to do about it now? You can't kick him out of lane. So that's fantastic. The next one happens at 8 minutes? There's a very similar dive on bot, and it's again both the supports of EG working in unison for an objective. That mid tower, they got the objective. Now the bot tower is going for it again. They've got God Strength back up on Arteezy, level 4 Tidehunter, under level defender, over level EG hero. They're gonna dive. Even though this doesn't actually pan out, you know, they still get the Tide. But they force rotations. They force 3 heroes that weren't here before to the lane, and this is giving more farm here and giving more farm here, and you know, space for towers. So even though the both supports of EG died, that's fine. Right? Supports and heroes level pre-6, like pre-level 6, don't give anywhere near as much XP or bounty or whatever. So it's all everything. The Sven lives and the supports die. But look at that, immediately pushing in lane hard, pushing in lane, you know, pretty hard as well here. So even though that doesn't pan out beautifully, the point is they made that play. It's like a systemic play. It's a play they're going to continue to make. And the next dive comes up at top lane. So again, we've got, this isn't both supports actually, but it's a 2-man rotation. They've got Fear after pushing in the mid lane. He's the guy that makes the rotation over, as well as crit. So it's still a 3-man dive. And they're punishing the Tide, right? Tide at 9 minutes still not having his level 6. Look at that, now they're going to get the tower here. So it's really important for EG to be able to make use of winning those lanes, right? And that's how they do it. Timed aggression that just never really goes away. So yeah. So we'll just go back to notes here. Now we're going to look at minute 11. What's happening minute 11? Alright. So there's another switch, right? A roughly similar time. Last game there was a switch around this time with the Batrider after he got Blink and Force. They were the two signifiers. And he stopped being a lane hero. And it's a very similar thing to what Arteezy does here. And I think this is indicative of a balance between Arteezy and Sumail that they're going to find. Where Fear plays the same role and Arteezy and Sumail kind of switch between the complementary role. So I'll talk about that more in depth after the games, but now I just want to show you how it's going to function. So Sumail is the lane pusher, right? They cannot kill Sumail unless they commit like Wyvern ulti or Chrono to stop TPs. And even then you still actually have to kill him through level 4 repel. So level 4 degen and purification, repel and whatever. He's got drums as well. It's really important that he didn't go something like Midas. He got drums so that he could enable himself to continue to pressure, right? It's not about scaling for EG, it's about pressuring. So drums is 10 times better item than Midas for this game on this hero. The other lane hero is going to be Fear. These are two independent functioning heroes, right? Heroes that do not need other heroes around them. Although Bane and ES have the mobility that they can impact anywhere. So you'll see those are the two lane heroes, and then Arteezy is gonna farm jungle, and he's basically gonna farm basically this area. He's only gonna come into lane to depush from this tower. You see, like they can't go on the Omni, and they can't go on Fear on the Lycan because of this. They can't catch him. They don't have the damage because he's way far ahead. I mean, look at that fucking regen, man. Look at that regen. He's tanked a Chrono and he's still hanging around. Okay, so I'll show you Sven's movements from now until basically this is like the final clip. I'm gonna show you the entire rest of the game because it's very short. And I'll show you Sven's movements for the most part here. So he's just gonna farm ancients. See these two are catch heroes, right? Supports on EG now are catch heroes. They're not defending anybody. They're not Dazzle sitting behind anybody. They're going out and finding kills and creating plays, which is really cool. Now Arteezy continues to farm up. He's getting a Yasha for increased farm speed, going the S and Y. You see the Lycan's down bot, and Sumail's top. I think they had to use the chrono on Sumail here, right? This is the point where you can't kill the fucking Omni Knight. So you have to... He doesn't die. He just doesn't die. Unless you chrono him and everything else. So all that pressure from Sumail is now giving them a tower here, and it's given them all this ancient farm on Arteezy. See, he only comes into lane when he's deep-pushing this mid lane. Otherwise, he can just farm this whole really rich jungle area, as well as farming, you know, the enemy's ancients, right? Fears just farm the enemy's ancients here, and Arteezy's farming the enemy ancients here. This is actually brutal, absolutely brutal for the enemy team. You see there's an indication, this is before Blink Dagger, but Arteezy is also serving the role that Batrider served last game, and he's going to be the Blink initiation from Fog, right? He's going to be the guy that stays off map and has threat. So Sumail can't do that on the Omni Knight, so he's going to purely stay in the lane and push that lane. And very similar for Fear. It's about this kind of distribution, and this harmony for the EG team is absolutely wonderful. I think it's the best thing I've seen from them in a long time. I'll talk about implications and other strats a bit after the game. But I'll play at +2. Again, look at top lane, pushing in top lane. Fear's just creating havoc bot lane. And Arteezy pushing in jungle, right? Anytime hero that can maybe kill, try to get a kill with the grip and the Earth Spirit, right? So Penta never really get a chance to use their abilities the way they want. They never really get a chance to do this. This is what their draft wants to do. They want a chrono, they want to ravage, they want to do everything. But you see how with the 10k lead at 15 minutes, farming on all the heroes basically, EG, and farming on 2 at most, Penta, they struggle. They really struggle. Fantastic Repel just came out in time. How farmed Arteezy is. Only now that he's like way out leveling, way out farming, he's participating. Like proactively, aggressively. And only because they've got stuff to protect him. Right, it's not even a risk if he's not gonna die. So look at that. All the heroes there. Fear didn't have shapeshift when all this was happening, and he's just playing his role. His role is the towers and independent split pushing. So look at that, man. How quickly he does damage to that tower. So immediately draws heroes there. You know, Arteezy now can continue to push. Sumail's gone back to zone lane to push, right? And after this, they're gonna go for Roche again, a few minutes earlier than they did last game. So now, if you get the Aegis on Arteezy, you know, you're really never gonna kill him. You weren't gonna kill him the first time, you're never gonna kill him now. So it's really good. And again, Sumail doesn't come in to take Roche. He's just doing his role, pushing in. Look at that, just smacking that tower, man. Look how farmed this is. Like, this is how you out farm the opponent, right? You farm more area than the opponent, right? In some ways, this is the best version of EG. This is what EG try to do. But in previous games, they've been really defensive about it. Right? They haven't been aggressive about it. They haven't been having the hero threat and the tower threat to combine with their split push. They were just split pushing basically for the sake of it. And so they're not out farming their opponents as much. You know, the Penta's not farming when they're running around, they're not farming when they're dying, they're not farming when they're sitting behind tower, waiting for EG to push heroes in because they can't contest the hero. You know, this Void isn't farming right now. He's not farming when he's having to sit in trees and hide with a Vanguard as well. Vanguard because he can't live any other way. You know? So this is what you have to do to kill Sumail, right? You have to commit your big teamfight ulti. And now that you've committed that teamfight ulti, you can't do anything with it. You can't go on and push a tower. because you don't have any fight left, right? The Ravage is still on cooldown, it's coming off, but Chrono is huge. Chrono is still really important. When you're this far behind as Penta, you need everything, and you're never going to get that. Not when Fear's pushing your base like this. You can see this with the Blink Dagger and Aegis now. They've got a grip on the Void. They're pushing the grip, the Wyvern, whatever they're going on the Void, and this is all enabled because Fear has forced through first to his lane, right? And he's gonna live, right? He's forced the Ravage too, right? It's just complete and utter domination. It really is. This is kind of the highest ideal that you can go for in Dota. Completely dominate your opponent. And they've actually, I think they've almost got the lineup where they can take it late, even if they wanted to. But why would you? When you're leading at 13,000 at 15 minutes in, why would you want to? Okay, so from here, what are we happening? 19 minutes in. Okay, the game's going to be over about 22, so I'm just going to show you. So only with the 13,000 lead that AG are thinking of pushing in as a unit. I'll show you the net worth here. See, it's got the Battle Fury Yasha. It's on the ESL. Alright, so here again, EG is splitting up now. We'll start here. Very cool play, R3 farms this wave. Just a cool setup from Fear. Excuse me, just to use his ability as a summon hero to at once push wave and scout. He's also got the threat, right? He's basically sitting in the trees with the Blink Dagger with this ult. So he's found the Wyvern, right? The Wyvern tried to get out but couldn't because he's blocked, but look what they're able to do. Wyvern got out, Void hasn't got out. Void's gonna escape, but all this is making space. All this is making space for your teammates. So Chrono comes out. This is again a fight Penta kind of feel like they have to take, but they're just gonna lose anyway. So fair enough, that's fine, whatever. You see how important that group is. That group is huge, right? This is a misery role I can get behind. Again, Fear taking base. Alright, it's yeah, basically. Okay, so to make a note on the series, Penta aren't a famed team. I think they're at 17th or something in Gosu games for the region. But they're not a horrific team, right? They won the first game in pretty convincing fashion. So in a similar way to VGJ, I think this is all about EG's own strategy and how other teams can counter it by picking that team fight and picking better split push. And now that EG, I think, have found their way forward, there'll be a new meta development. So we can talk about that after. So right now I just want to summarize the drafting adaptations for each hero and each player. So for Arteezy, previously he was the only source of split push and he was always split pushing. So it was stuff like the Morphling and then the PL, I think in 2 games against VJJ. So it was the Morphling, then like the PL and then a Terrorblade. I think of those 3, only Terrorblade would work in this kind of situation. And then you'd have Sumail on like a Batrider or something. So that seems to be the common theme, right? There's still split pushing, but now Arteezy is doing it in a different manner. In a different manner because there's a redistribution between Fear and Sumail. So Fear previously played 4 of the last 7 games for EG on DP, on the Death Prophet, and Death Prophet isn't a hero that can function alone. And Arteezy wasn't being split pushes that were functioning alone. Lycan is like the perfect EG hero. And in a lot of ways, he's the perfect hero for this kind of strat all up. This strategy is really, really reminiscent of the way Liquid play at their best and VP play at their best. Dominate from the off, from the start, and split push your opponent. Always play active, and it's brilliant to watch. I absolutely love it. I think they've probably taken inspiration from that, and that is why Lycan is such a is such a liquid hero, right? He's Matumba Man's hero, right? And you see other heroes like Broodmother plays very similarly. You'll see shit like that. I think previously, in previous patches, Veno played a very similar role. But now this patch it seems to be Lycan. So compared to DP, this is a completely different role for Fear, and I think he played it amazingly. I think Fear was fantastic on this hero. And they first picked it the last game, so I think EG feel that they're fantastic about it. They feel great about it. Yeah, for Sumail, the when they got the Lycan on Fear, like it seems to be two lane pushes of their three cores. It seems to be two lane pushes and then one hero that provides threat from fog, and that was the Batrider or that is the Sven. So that can be switched around, but the basic distribution seems to be that. In these two games, it was Arteezy switching between them and Sumail switching between them, and Fear staying the same. I don't know how that's going to pan out. Maybe in different games you'll see Arteezy playing the Lycan. Not sure how it's going to go, but that's the theme. That's the overall theme. Yeah. So for the supports, crit didn't make a huge change. Crit is like the constant factor, as well as split pushing in general. He played Tusk and Earth Spirit before as your classic roaming heroes. And he plays that well, and it's a good role. I think that's fine. The big change is for Misery. Misery's got a much clearer role. He was playing defensive heroes, stuff like, again, Dazzle, and he played Undying. To a decent degree, Undying fulfilled a similar lane-dominating role and try to increase your your ability to take objectives early. However, there's a very key difference in that Undying couldn't adapt to the split push style. Undying was like a death ball kind of hero, and in the game that EG used it, they gave him a lane to farm and just said buy a Hand of Midas and try to go late, and it didn't work out. Bane is a completely different approach. Bane is a hero that wants to find a guy, grip the guy, and then have somebody wail on him. And that's perfect for this draft, right? You know, Bane is a hero that you pair with Io, for example, so that you can get an initiation and have the Io and his mate come in and you 3v1 a guy. All in the space of a Nightmare and group, right? So it's a completely different dynamic from Misery. I don't know, off the top of my head, other heroes that could fulfill the same role. You know, maybe a Wyvern. I don't know, man. It's too deep. Yeah. Yeah, it's also a good point to note that Bane is an answer to the Omni Knight as well. So it enables the Omni Knight to some sense, right? As a BKB piecing spell. So it's really fantastic too that they've got a BKB answer. Yeah. I think that's all we'll talk about for this series. Going forward, where's the EG strat going to develop from here, and how a team's going to play against it? I couldn't really tell you, honestly. I think we're going to have to wait to see. There's too much to speculate about. To some degree, I think this is the optimal, like the ideal way to play Dota in some sense. You know, there's a reason the top two teams of the last year or so in VP and Liquid, like the guys that play this strat, to some degree, nobody's found a way to perfectly play against it, to some degree. When it works, and it's mainly limitations around the draft, if from what I've seen when Liquid especially, if they see a draft opening for it, you know, if the enemy team lacks natural AoE or whatever, and they can go for it, they will, but you know, other teams can draft around it differently. Yeah, so I think if EG can find a similar way to play, and maybe play at a different tempo, but retain the tower threat and the hero threat, then they can do well. Because that's the big thing that they changed these games. When the basic difference between being successful and not is the hero threat and the tower threat. They have from the Lycan and from the Bane. those are the two heroes more than anything. You know, from okay, coming out from the position 2 and the position 5. So I'm gonna end it there, guys. Try to make this the longer stuff like this as concise and flowing and as condensed as we can. I hope that was good. I enjoyed making the video a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. You know, look out for other stuff. Cheers. Take it easy.